Hello, chat. This is Magic Fish Radio, and we're back, I think. I've had a weird week. I'm pretty sure I'm here. What a great state in which to play Malkavian. As you can see, we're a little bit low on players this week. However, today I did finish our new application form for players and GMs for all of our various programs on this and games on this channel, including this one. So if you would like to apply to be part of this ridiculous band of people, go find the link on our Discord. There's now a whole channel for casting calls. It is also posted somewhere on our Twitter. And yep, this is Magic Fish Radio. We do TTRPG streams on Tuesdays and Saturdays going forward from now, as my body had stopped being a whiny brat and I can mostly function again. And remember, we don't use cash on this channel because that would be pointless. We have in-game buy-ins using channel points. So go check out the channel points bubble to see what you can buy us poor sad vampires. Us vampires that are about to go fight something I barely understand out of character. So minimum metagaming on my part for once. And that's the channel announcements. On to John, who is our actual GM for tonight. Woohoo! Because it's Tuesday night is John's night. Yay!
Hello, good evening, and welcome back all. Whether you're watching us live or watching us from the future, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Eldritch Adversaries, Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle. Down to our last two members of the coterie, though not by the means which one would normally expect to lose coterie members in a vampire game. I did feel a little awkward murdering off PCs when the players had to step away as opposed to, them having earned it. But their players...
Shit happens. Moving on.
The things that happen with the players didn't deserve reflection upon the characters. That being said, welcome back. Well,
the characters did nothing wrong.
The characters did well. they did things wrong, but not deserving of death.
They did nothing wrong. I don't know what you're talking about.
So yes. Moving on, I will be your storyteller this evening, hopefully crafting a tale that you all find entertaining. And we'll keep you all coming back and possibly sharing with your friends and saying, hey, come on down. Magic Fish Radio folk are pretty cool. But
we're so cool, we're in black and white.
Yeah.
At least for this game, because it's a purpose.
Don't expect this to continue when we leap into the next campaign, which will be using Alien, the role-playing game.
Yes, so I also have the full game schedule for Tuesdays for the next few months on the Discord. So when Eldritch Adversaries wraps up, we will be going on into Aliens for a 4-session game. And then G.I. Joe for a 4-session game, or however long it takes us to want to strangle ourselves on Essence 20.
Again, to be fair, the Essence 20 G.I. Joe book, much better than the Power Rangers book.
Oh, okay. Then no worries.
It's better laid out. It's less cluttered. The things are arranged not in a perfect order, but in a more sensible order.
Nice. Okay.
And certainly the equipment section is much better laid out. Criminy.
So chat, if you're interested in any of those, you can also apply to be in those and not vampire if you don't like vampires.
And yes, please swing in for the G.I. Joe game, if for no other reason than this is an important learning experience for all of us, because it is the same base system for another upcoming campaign that I definitely want to run. And the Transformers will finally be hitting the screens without a third-party role-playing game system. Which will be nice, because while you can do it using Mechamorphosis in the D20 Modern system, it's not perfect. I'm just hoping Essence 20 is better. or at least not crap. Closer to G.I. Joe than Power Rangers, please, Renegade.
Can you hear us, gaming gods? We're saying it on stream. That makes it louder, right?
Sure.
But
Cleric life.
Before we go on, let's reintroduce the remaining members of our coterie, starting with everyone's favorite Trash Goblin.
Yeah! Hi, I'm Dracus. I'm playing Vern, our favorite Trash Goblin. I am finally waking up this evening with the effects of my diablerie like several months ago in real life. It'll be fun. We're gonna see how this goes.
Ah, yes. Our favorite Trash Goblin / Cannibal. And our wonderful channel producer.
I just want to say again, let this be a lesson to anyone running a stream. Don't not let people play just because they haven't played a system before. You know, I don't think of doing these things because I'm used to playing Vampire the same way I've been playing it for 20 years. Dracus is brand new. Dracus went for the Diablerie move, and that was amazing.
It was so much fun.
New players are always do new stuff, and it's fun.
Diablerie's not a problem if you're connected enough or you can hide it.
Vern might or might not be either of these things. We're not sure yet.
Well, that depends. No. You have an option to get really well connected real quick.
Yeah.
You might take that tonight. Anyway.
I'm waiting to see how long I can resist taking it. How long Vern can resist taking it.
So, yeah, I'm Ms. Chrysula on various social media things. But here, I'm Charisse Lowell, and sometimes Riza Lowell, if she comes out to play today. But my GM reminded me that I ended the game as Charisse, so I rebuttoned my costume. And yeah, as I said pre-game, neither Charisse nor Riza is a leader, warlord, long game planning type. So wow. Using pronouns there actually as a collective multiple. No,
really and truly plural this time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's insensitive or not, though. So I'm gonna stop talking about it.
It's okay.
Because I'm not trans, so I'm gonna shut up.
Is that insensitive when it actually is a word that is used for the plural of people, especially if they are a group of people of various different genders and identifying pronouns?
Except that in this case, it's a fictional character I made up, and also I'm not sure I'm being sensitive towards people with actual dissociative identity disorder. So I'm okay just not talking about it anymore.
Fair enough.
Fair.
I have hit my level of problematic enough for the day. Anyway, so yes, my character is planning to offer her assistance to the rich and powerful guy who seems to have a plan. Or at least have enough ridiculous amounts of influence to put a plan together, and then I will happily minion. But we might not be going back to Boston. Charisse was only there because she thought part of her husband might be there, and now that it's confirmed he is not, then yeah.
Nope, it was just meeting the people that would help put you in the direction of his remains.
That works, but yeah.
I was only there because I'd never been anywhere else, and, well, Isabel was there.
And then you had the means to track down your sire and punch him in the face, but someone else might have already done that.
Not quite. Not yet. There's still time.
See,
what were we doing? We fell asleep. Did we?
You were introduced when last you all left off. The two of you, rather the three of you, had just awoken, and there was a knock at your door as some familiar-looking Hessian folk have pulled you from your chambers to go up to the 13th floor to go speak into the office of the former owner of this establishment and current overseer during the midnight shadow siege of Paris.
Oh yes, and I had two interesting dreams. Or one dream from two. Yes, is someone going to explain to me what happened?
We'll get to that.
All right.
Yes, Vern has to take the lead on this one.
Yeah.
Because Vern's the only one with all the pieces right now.
Yeah. I love being the only one with all the pieces.
I have some notes in my notebook. The Baali are real?
Yes.
And the people calling themselves the Baali are, other clans who've defected, but they're not Sabat? There's something else?
More or less.
Clearly overconfident.
That seems like a straight up opinion to me. They did seem actually genuinely terrifying from where I'm standing.
Alright.
I mean, you did watch one of them crush a guy with his mom.
Yes.
And something about checking one of the books I was studying for defense against balefire?
I don't know
flames.
anything about that one, sorry.
Something about green flames?
There were definitely green flames.
Alright. Alright, so we'll see what our hosts have to say to us, and but I do get the sense that they took someone from me and I need to get him back. So
Yeah.
it looks like my plan was to offer my services, but I don't I definitely don't know what's going on now, but help it any way I can. Alright, we'll see how this goes.
So yes, you three are brought over to the elevator and brought up to the 13th floor, where you step out to see several Hessians, some of which are currently in the midst of changing out of currently bullet-riddled and torn attire. At least some Hessians are now looking down at parts of their anatomy that you're certain they had arms the last time you saw them. And normally when a kindred goes into day sleep, they can work on growing one of those back. Those didn't grow back. Oh dear. There are some Hessians that are standing there in uniforms that are mostly dusted and slightly frayed and are in better condition than some of the others. That at least one of them, as you're walking by, is holding up their jacket, which currently has about 3 dozen holes in the back of it, some of which look like they were bullets, some of which look like they were knife. And you see more than a few kindred laying about here with wounds that haven't closed yet. More than a fair bit of which looks like it may have been some sort of flame-based injury. Oh yeah, it was an evening for everyone.
I mean, aggravated damage from fire does tend to heal more slowly, does it not?
It does, but this looks almost like it would be aggravated damage of fire done to mortal skin. So it looks more like lingering injuries and second degree or third degree burns, rather than kindred skin, which would kind of just, burn like parchment.
Well, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So you are all led into the meeting, into the office, where there are 3 familiar faces at this point. One is Garrison Toussaint, one is Hans Krieger, and the other is Hubert Fianterie, who is currently in the middle of putting on a new jacket. There is a bit of fabric that he is tucking to the side. Yes.
Two things. One, I don't think Charisse met the second two.
Did Charisse ever meet Hubert?
Nope. She was definitely in Risa mode when he showed up. Otherwise, that would have been a very different meeting.
No.
But what's our initial host was the first.
Garrison.
Yeah, Garrison. She knows Garrison. Also, pools for tonight.
Yes.
Players. We have 15. We have 15 plus ones on the pool, 4 willpower, and 3 crit conversions. The GM has 23 plus ones.
Subtract one of those, make it 22.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
For those that are interested, it involves a single roll that was made pre-stream.
Oh, I think I know. Okay.
Oh.
Thank you for keeping me posted.
To be fair, that one die wouldn't have made much of a difference. You rolled a 2, he wound up rolling a total of 12.
Yeah.
The worst it would have done would have dropped his total to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So you all...
I knew there was no hope of me doing anything useful with that one.
So you enter and the doors are closed behind you. Garrison looks at you all, gives a nod. Hans gives a nod. Hubert is in the middle of turning around and casting his eyes over the three of you and stops. And his eyes fix entirely on you, Vern.
Yeah.
So Garrison goes, mes amis, I'm glad that you are doing all right and that you seem to have come back, well, in one piece. I heard from several of the ghouls that you came in here with another kindred that you pulled from Thoreau's grasp. Would you be willing to tell us that Hubert, is something wrong? I don't know yet. But it can wait a minute. The whole time he's speaking, his eyes are entirely locked on you, Vern.
I'm staring right back.
I would like to also... At that, Charisse is going to also auspex on Vern, because she doesn't actually know what happened.
How are you auspex?
I think I told you.
After we woke up?
Not this morning,
no,
but
then you didn't tell me.
You told Risa.
I told Risa.
I thought Charisse knew.
Not
okay. Oh dear God.
So how are you using auspex? Are you going to scry the soul?
I am going to scry the soul, or try to.
Okay. Since this is an initiation of a second use of Scry the Soul, I will give you the option, Vern, of if you want to keep the roll and assume that it was against both Scry the Souls at the same time, or if you want to attempt to still resist someone who would be using Scry the Soul on you.
I don't see any reason to keep it from Charisse, so I'm just gonna not even try on that one.
Okay, what is my roll again?
Scry the Soul is 1 rouse check.
Okay.
And then it is intelligence plus auspex.
Okay, so I make the rouse check first, and then
Yes.
I roll the dicey dice. Fail, so I'm a bit peckish.
You get 1 point of hunger. 1 step closer to Charisse committing diablerie.
That's assuming a lot, sir.
If you get hungry enough, if it's easy enough to pray.
And that is...
Come on, Vernon, love a cannibalism buddy.
6 successes, including a 10.
Against Vern's 2. So, Vern, would you first please describe your current emotional state at this point? Would you be giving off apprehension, fear, or is it almost relief that someone just knows? Because you're fairly certain he just knows now.
I made this decision. It was a spur of the moment and ill-informed decision, but I made this decision and I'm standing by it. Kind of nice that I don't have to tell anyone, but like, yeah, there's probably a little bit of apprehension just in the fact that this is, until I necessarily explain myself, potentially something that people are looking at me like, something might be wrong, but it can wait. And that's like,
so definitely not the
emotion. Might be wrong, but
more like
no.
More like slightly apprehensive, but not that freaked out versus you're next kind of aura.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Philippe did say he would explain if people weren't listening to me. So like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, you see that. You are obviously aware that Vern is a vampire.
Yeah.
You are certain that they are not currently under the effect of blood sorcery.
Good to hear right now.
And it looks like diablerie veins, but diablerie veins have never been a bright neon green in a person's aura before.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what? With 6 successes against 2, there is one other thing you would notice. Right at the innermost edges of Vern's aura, where the aura seems to come off of the flesh itself, there's this shimmer, almost like the shimmer you would see off of a paved street when it's really hot out. It looks distinct from the wave that normally occurs with an aura, like a counter frequency almost. Because Vern remembers their nighttime message, don't they?
Actually, I think you said I wouldn't remember it.
Very good. You remembered.
That was a
okay.
Test. Totally
I remembered then.
that was me testing the player to see if they would say, "Oh yeah, no, the character totally remembers." After I told you wouldn't. But yes, the player remembers. The character doesn't. That's important.
Okay, so whatever look the other guy is going, Sharice just sort of like not accusatory or frightened, just like, what?
I just give you a bit of a side eye with the hopes that you'll understand this is part of I'll explain later.
Okay, I think she'll pick up on I'll explain later. She looks very perturbed.
We can save any further explanations for that later, but there will be need for that later.
Understandable.
So please, would you inform us what happened to you last evening? I could use some good news.
I'm not sure there's necessarily good news to go around. Tremaine isn't a problem anymore. That's about all I can give you. Yeah, so we broke into that house.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about a friend that we found down there. I'm not sure what her deal is. If my opinion counts for anything, really doesn't seem like she's on their side. However, they expected us there, left letters throughout the house apparently for each of us individually, and I was the only one who found one. And oh, by the way, it's the Baali, which I'm thinking you figured out, but like...
But the Baali are a myth.
No, they're not.
Or perhaps they're a group just invoking the myth to instill fear.
No, they're not. I assure you, we have seen proof of this.
He just sits in the chair and begins rubbing at his face. Garrison and Hans are both giving each other glances, looking at him, looking at you, looking at each other, at Hubert, at you, and Hubert goes, honestly, after the thin-blooded, which we are somehow managing to pose as ghouls, started causing the damage like the kiss of the sun onto Kindred in the court, and the fact that several of their agents wound up bursting into sunlight, I'm not sure I'm willing to disbelieve anything at this point.
Well, whoever they are, they're clearly grossly overpowered and awful. Vern, was this
Yes.
part of our escapade last night? And she takes the big ledger book out of her big bag, which she forgot about last night.
Yes.
Right.
May I?
Of course. And she just hands it right over. Because she probably had about the same thing last night that Riza had, which is some of these entries make sense, some of them are horrible, and others make no sense at all. Thank you, Ventru1399, for following.
Flip. He's looking through. Actually, he would probably need to make a check in regards to his science skill, because there's some things he wouldn't necessarily know off the top of his head, but there are things that he might recognize from a life lived doing things. 4 successes would probably be enough for that. He doesn't recognize everything listed in there, but he recognizes that some of them are ingredients that are used in the creation of various different types of explosives and can be turned into accelerants, and in some cases mixed together to form gases that will be poisonous to the kind. And then there are listings for weapons. Weapons he recognizes. Some he doesn't, and he is concerned by that. All right. So you killed Tremaine Thoreau, who I imagine, much like the prince, was an impostor. And
We didn't kill him. His ally did. The same man who appeared to taunt me earlier in the evening was along with him, decided he was fed up with this guy mouthing off, and yeah.
Mon Dieu. Right. Okay.
But he was an imposter.
Hans, do me a favor. Gather everyone you can. Please have them go to the to this address, and see to it that everyone found there who is not a traditional mortal is killed. And please do so with expediency. I do not want this particular weed going back in this garden. Oui? Jawohl, mein Herr. Danke, danke. He writes out the address, hands it to him. Oh, so is there anything else of note that you can tell us from your evening's escapade? Before I have to go back and begin helping establishing a new prince in the city.
I think that was most of it. Anything interesting there in your notes, Charisse?
Apparently, unfortunately, I don't really remember last night, so it must have been quite exciting. I wrote down overhearing some ghouls, or, well, something about plans that an operation that was supposed to take 20 or 30 years is now going to take place in the next few days, and in the next few days Paris will burn, followed by the rest of Europe.
We,
Given that these creatures can set people on sunlight fire, I'm somewhat more inclined to believe them.
we. This is a very severe problem, and I'm going to have to call out to every resource I have and try to convince them all that they need to get their princes to start heavily investigating all of their cities, assuming their princes are not compromised.
Also that the Baali seem to be, someone described a Baali as being an ex-Toreador, so I suppose they're some kind of anti-tribu, like in the Sabbat, but obviously not the Sabbat.
Well, I mean, the Sabbat don't consider themselves X things. They just consider themselves Sabbat first and then their clan. None of them claim to be X anything. They claim to be the real ones.
In which case, the shenanigans against the Malkavians makes a bit more sense, since one of them might be, or they would consider themselves, an ex-Malkavian.
So there would need to be a Malkavian of aspects and generation, most likely greater than the most powerful Malkavian in the city of Baali.
I mean, my clan does not have a monopoly on auspex. But...
No, you don't. But unfortunately, in order to access the things that Malkavians can access with auspex, it's not a thing your typical Toreador can do. That is something a Malkavian can do. The Cappadocians and the La Sombra can both draw on their unique discipline of oblivion, but they both draw upon it in very different ways.
I also made a note about the books I'd been reviewing before all of this started.
Yeah.
Defense against balefire?
I do not know what that is.
Garrison. A magical green flame thing. I doubt a kindred could actually do anything about it, but...
Garrison's like, unfortunately, accessing those tomes will be quite difficult now as...
everything's on fire.
It wasn't just kindred resources that were assaulted last night. Apparently, several mage chantries also fell under attack, and they have walled themselves off until that is handled. And
yes, it
seems.
And she's just flipping through her very badly organized notes. Something about their great goal is not to rule, but to destroy everything on this planet up to the gates of heaven themselves.
Yeah, that was it.
That might be why I noted that they're a bit overconfident, but...
A genocide cult, fantastic. Like I haven't had to deal with enough of them.
Indeed. And not just genocide of kindred, but of everyone, so obviously this force cannot be reasoned with. They are beyond reason. And as a Malkavian, I consider myself something of a authority on that.
Yeah.
But my understanding of the Baali in mythology was just sort of kindred who made pacts with the devil or some such, so I mean it fits the pattern, but you're saying that they're real.
Everything you're telling me seems to indicate that they are very real. Well, now I have to try and figure out who I can trust and who I can't as I try to pull every last possible credit and chip I have with everyone across the greater continent of Europe.
I mean, I dare say if they actually have the means to burn Europe to the ground, I would consider I would consider it a worthy investment.
As do I. I just need to make sure that the people I'm contacting are ones I can actually still trust.
Understood. Um, it seems that they have also kidnapped my husband and husband, who is also my sire. So, I am here to help you in whatever ways you need me to, such to the best of my ability. I am not very combat. I am not at all combat experienced, except to hide behind tables and run out of rooms.
Yes, you do also seem a bit less confident and a bit more conservative than the last time I saw you.
I have and this did who just said that?
Hubert.
Hubert. To be honest, sir, I don't think we've been introduced.
He's about to open his mouth when Garrison just sort of leans in.
I'm giving him the look of, we don't address this. We just don't address this.
Apologies, Madame Lowell. Garrison has informed me of your condition.
Oh, so we have met, but I'm having another memory slip.
So it would seem, we.
Oh, I apologize, sir. Yes, I'm not the most reliable in that sense, unfortunately.
I appreciate your desire to help, but mentioning memory slips, mentioning a lack of combat capability, and openly admitting a lack of reliability doesn't really engender faith when we are apparently about to enter into a war for the safety and soul of Europe. No offense intended.
Understood. But since they've kidnapped someone near and dear to me, I also just can't leave.
Do you have any idea where they have abducted him to?
Vienna. Or so.
That is what they said.
A very overconfident and creepy person told me in a dream. Take that as you will.
Hans, before you go get that team over there to clear out the house, I need you to request that any Hessians that were currently en route redirect themselves to Vienna. Sooner rather than later, please. Ja, jawohl. I'll go do that now. And he exits the room. And once the doors are closed, even through that thick wood, you hear his booming German voice as he is shouting commands. And Vern, being the only one here who speaks German, aside from Hubert, you hear him going, "There's more of these fuckers! You get on the line, get the radios.
Actually,
inform everyone coming in. They need to turn around. Go to Vienna. Go to Berlin. In every major city on the way. You lot, get up off your asses. We have more to kill. You try to figure out how to regrow that. I'm sorry, Fritz, but you're no good to me right now. Everyone else, grab a gun, grab a knife. Ah!
Actually, how much? Let me check. How much?
Vern staring at the door, just in mild surprise.
I have 2 dots left. If I can buy German, I will do so.
Just something you've picked up.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people screaming in German this week for some reason. And I mean, she already knows French and English, so.
We'll say German is a work in progress, and you're able to ascertain the meaning of a handful of words as you've heard them being screamed over and over. And we'll call some of it bleed over from Riza, because Riza, I think, has actually heard more of it than Charisse has. But you're starting to pick up a couple of words. Okay, that's...
Most of them are probably vulgar.
Oh yes, you are becoming intimately familiar with the words, with the phrases Scheiße, as well as authoritative commands like Raus and Mach schnell. In other words, telling them all, get up, make fast, we need to go. A few other unkind things are being shouted, but in a purely military fashion.
Yeah.
Like it's not actually meant to hurt someone's feeling. It's like, get up.
Well, I mean, Europe will burn, so it's kind of, something's gonna happen.
Right. And you can and again, with your heightened senses, you can hear people suddenly getting over telegraphs and radios, communicating in. They are communicating in shorthands and command signals, which make even less sense to you. And I mean, Vern, you recognize some of the words they're using, but they're using them in a context where it's like, oh, this is military jargon. I don't understand German speak military jargon that could be anywhere from 3 years old to 300. And yes, so now you three are left in the room with Garrison and Hubert. Is there anything else you would all like to tell him?
Not unless he's going to address the Diablerie lines first.
I'm sorry. I know I'm not going to be much help, and we did hear that there was going to be an assassination attempt on the Prince of Boston, and I would very, very much like to be excused from the battles here in Austria and France, to go back and try and save Prince King, because he's a good and decent man, and this has been very traumatizing for me.
Give Isabella a nice little pat on the back.
Garrison, would you please take the madame and arrange for her to be expedited back to the States very quickly? We right away. And Garrison steps and escorts Isabel out of the room, rather. Now, based on the look on your face, I assume you've noticed what I've noticed.
Yes?
Monsieur Quincy, would you care to explain to me why you have green veins running through your aura?
I assume that this is a direct result of what happened before we went to Tremaine's place last night, and I assure you there's a very good explanation for this.
I'm curious because in all of my years, I have never seen an aura with green veins running through it.
Okay. Gonna be honest, kind of new to this whole thing, don't know what an aura looks like. I'll take for your word for it that it looks weird. Probably because I may or may not have diablerized one of the Baali.
Why?
Okay.
He was going to kill Philippe. It seemed like the best option in the moment.
All right. You would not be the first kindred to do something like that in the heat of battle. But normally when one commits diablerie, their aura is riddled with veins of black, or a very deep red, depending upon who you ask. Veins of green are not normal.
I have no explanation for that.
Apparently, at least one of the ridiculous kindred we met last night had a green tinge to his aura. This shade of green that was almost nauseating, and just... It didn't write down that the diablerie veins themselves were green, but there's definitely...
His diablerie veins were not green.
Okay.
His were very much the classic black.
So, there's definitely a sickly green theme ongoing.
Well, this raises some very interesting questions, because it's not like diablerie veins change based on what clan you feed on. But if feeding on a Baali actively has changed the representation of your act of diablerie in your aura, that indicates that there is something very, very different about these creatures.
That they were kindred and now are no longer. Or somehow markedly different, unlike other sects.
I'm beginning to lean more and more towards involvement from the devil.
I mean, there are entities, many entities throughout history referred to as demons, including ourselves in some eras, but I mean, there's always something else I don't know.
Yeah, mages that I have become acquainted with quietly at one point or another have mentioned things that have popped up like bane spirits. I'm beginning to wonder these uh, if these Baali are somehow affected by that, and that would affect with theirs, which is another reason why perhaps you should stay away from them. I do not know what this means. I do not know if this is some potential bit of control that one of them might be able to use against you. I mean, if assuming you, well, you Diablo, right? So you successfully killed the person you fed on, so they can theoretically not command you through a
I
blood
mean,
bond.
they definitely have some form of blood sorcery at their disposal that I'm unfamiliar with, based on runes carved into people's flesh.
Well, that's always fun and not even remotely nauseating.
Mm. Um, One thing I found in my notes, the rather disturbing lady. Apparently, she is tempting me to come to Vienna, do something for her which will be defined at a later date, and then she will give me my Mortimer back. I mean, I certainly don't trust her to uphold her end of the bargain, but I do trust that she will offer me a chance to do something for them. Which could give us the opportunity for a double cross. I strongly am not interested in infiltrating.
I maintain a stronger tie to humanity than most for my age. I would, however, this may sound cold and callous, and I apologize, but I think perhaps this might be best for you to avoid going to Vienna. If they want you to come out there and they want you to do a thing for them, that probably means that we should keep you from ever going anywhere near them. And I know it sounds very different when someone else is saying things that sound like sacrificing someone you care about. But at the same time, we are looking at the fate of Europe against one other kindred.
I understand. But it might also be one opportunity to find out what exactly they're doing in Vienna, aside from setting things on fire. The devil we know.
An important question that comes now is, do the two of you honestly think that you could go in there as you are now and still manage to get through all of this? Do you believe that you are completely uncompromised given the situation?
I feel that they are at least 3 steps ahead of us and have a special interest in us specifically.
All the more reason why I should probably keep you away from them.
Going into Vienna, as much as I think I would like to, for my own reasons, seems like it would be playing right into their hands and only help the world burn faster.
On the other hand, we are in a situation where we don't know who to trust, we don't know who else has already been taken or replaced outright, let alone compromised. We are both compromised from our own manner, but we're putting that on the table.
It's also mildly concerning to me that we were planning to go to Vienna before all of this came to light. I know that's partially just that they are 3 steps ahead of us and definitely knew that, but that whatever they're planning centers around somewhere we were already intending to go. Seems relevant to take into account, if nothing else.
Not to mention, they clearly also tried to dissuade us from going to Vienna by putting Prince King in danger.
Which then means that they theoretically want you in Boston as badly as they want you in Vienna, and hearing this, keeping you here might be exactly what they want by keeping you out of either location.
Also, Vern, did the person we met last night speak a lot about playing games? Is it possible they're not... that, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing? They might be so beyond reason that they're not actually working on each other's interests.
I'm not sure.
I definitely made notes about, well, I'll just say it out, just read it outright. If a Melkavian had started speaking like this, we would have taken him aside and away from society for their own good. Again, I don't know anything about, what did you call them? Bane spirits?
I don't know about them either.
I understand what spirits are in a general sense. I assume these are evil.
It's what I came across. I started to glaze over a little bit when they got into that part of the conversation, I'm not going to lie. It made them happy to talk about, but that was about it. I cannot in good conscience send you to Vienna or ask you to go. And considering you have told me that they actively told you to go back to Boston, I don't know if in good conscience I can order you or send you back there against your wills. And then I don't know if keeping you here is also what they want.
They do know how to play a person's paranoia. I'll give them that. And that counts for all of us, I dare say, not just yourself, sir.
Yeah. I know how to play a person's paranoia too. That's how I get contracts signed. Unfortunately, it helps when I have a chance to speak to the person.
Mm.
There's only one thing I can think of as a safety measure, and I hesitate to bring it up. You're both Camarilla kindred, so this is a bit taboo. But in order to protect you from attempts against themselves, the best option would be to put a mark on you both ahead of time.
How do you mean?
You can't blood bond someone who's already been blood bonded unless you get more marks on them than already exist from a pre-existing sire or from a pre-existing master. The only way to be sure that they would have a harder time influencing your minds, either through blood bonding, domination, or anything of this nature, would be to have you blood bonded to a higher degree to another person before you're presented with them again. And this is very, very taboo in Camarilla society. That being said, I know that the greater authorities of Camarilla society do have agents which are blood bonded to the Methuselahs that run everything. Oh. And it is not beyond kindred to still have children or associates that are blood bonded to them.
At this point, GM, Charisse is going to do something else that's taboo and scry the soul on, the Monsieur.
Okay.
Because she just wants to make sure that now that she knows what a Baali aura looks like, that this isn't all a really complicated ploy thingy.
This is the long game. you knew Hubert is one thing, but he's been a villain this whole time.
Well, I mean, you've done that to me before with Hubert in another system. So
that's how you could probably be certain I wouldn't do that again. But that being said,
I don't mind the switcheroo, but you do seem to like them a lot. So
I had a lot of fun playing him, so any excuse to play him is nice.
play him or a Shimisi pretending to be him. Even that would probably be preferable right now, but you know, still. So I do a rouse check,
You do?
which I fail, so now I'm even hungrier.
Yep. Yes. The Diablerie coterie.
No.
I
No,
refuse.
no. This coterie only needs one trash gremlin cannibal.
And this this brain
That's
only needs
my job.
2 personalities. We don't need a third. We're already predisposed. Not that Charisse realizes that, but still.
Here's the thing is, I love the fact that the conservative librarian is the one who could be turning into the Diablerist.
You're right.
Not,
Well, no, that's the thing. Charisse wouldn't do it based on scruples. Riza would, except she's already time-sharing this brain with someone else and doesn't want any more competition. So... And 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 6 successes, including a 10.
okay. Hubert did not roll well. He is currently very bothered and conflicted. You are certain he is a vampire.
Yeah.
Shocker.
His aura is he's still trying to give off this presence of confidence and of a measure of, I guess, maturity and reliability. His aura reads that he is terrified out of his mind. He's not certain what to do. He has never encountered a thing like this before. No kindred alive has, as far as he knows. And he's not a military commander. He's a businessman.
Yeah.
It just so happens he's a businessman who's had to defend his business from, violent outbreaks. Hey, World War I was just a little while ago. So, having mercenaries on retainer, if for no other reason than dealing with other kindred, if not mortal wars, is a thing he's had to do. There are definite flashes of anger in his aura. You're not sure who at. It certainly doesn't seem to be directed at the two of you. The way the anger is flaring, it looks both like it's directing itself in towards himself, but then outward as well, but not focused in your directions.
He's an operator. He doesn't like things. He doesn't. Yeah, he's a very successful, world-renowned businessman, and this is a situation where he can't reason, he can't buy his way through it, and he can't. Well, killing them's gonna be a lot harder than a Sabbat pack would be. So
there is a lot of negative emotion running through him right now, but he is it's weird because the way it's all working together, it just drives home the fact that he's as flawed as everyone else, but it's also weird because you can almost see the way that they're intermingling. It's almost like you can read the clockwork in his brain as he's trying to fit the pieces together to try and find some way to make this work. There is no sign of that Baali tinge. He has not committed diablerie in, at the very least, the last, century or so. And he is, he's not very happy with these current circumstances, but nothing about what he's saying seems to indicate any sort of
sneaky motive.
No underhandedness. You're not seeing any signs of mind altering effects being used on him, such as any sort of blood. Well, no, I take that back.
He is blood bonded to someone.
He is blood bonded to someone, so you do notice signs of blood bonding, but that blood bonding doesn't seem to be an effect at this point. Like it's present, but it's
He's blood bonded, but it's
inactive.
not being manipulated.
Yes, it's there, but it's not actively doing anything. It's in standby.
And honestly, if he'd been blood bonded to a Baali, it would probably be green.
Yes. So he himself is blood bonded, but also everything he's saying seems to be coming from a place of honest consideration as a safety measure. There is worry and concern that is directed towards the two of you for what you have told him and what you're saying you're going to do.
Yes,
Nature caregiver.
Woohoo! So Charisse will just sort of regard him for a moment and look over at Byrne. If it meant you were more likely to let me help with all of these very ridiculous circumstances, I would agree to be blood bonded. If you could give me some assurance that it would be just for the duration of this crisis.
The instant this crisis is resolved, I will make no attempts to advance your blood bonding and maintain it for your own protections. And as you're still scrying the soul, you watch as like everything just sort of slides and shimmies, and like, no, this is a very honest thing he is saying. He is giving his word, and his word is something he takes very seriously. His aura is showing a sternness and assuredness in his words at this moment, even though the fear and the anger are still there. They've sort of been pushed into the background at this moment.
I mean, we can't be entirely sure that they don't have blood sorcery to do whatever more shenanigans they have in mind, but at least it will be some measure of insurance.
And he turns to look at you, Vern.
I think this seems like a risk that must be taken in order to try to do something in this situation.
We'll both be double agents, but at least in this case we're double agents working for you and not them. Which is, unfortunately, far more often the case, it seems. Based on what happened last night.
If you both agree to this, can you give me 3 nights to ensure that you're as protected as I can manage?
Yes, I can do that.
And he takes his jacket back off. He unfastens his cufflinks on each sleeve, and he starts to roll them both up to the elbow. And he steps around the desk and comes to the two of you, and he offers each of you a wrist.
He is fully aware of how dangerous this is, right?
He is perfectly aware, but Europe is going to burn. And
yeah.
He is trusting that the two of you are more determined to save your own asses and anything you might care about than to kill the guy who's literally offering you a protection to keep you from becoming a Baali bitch.
Yeah, Charisse is also... She doesn't give side-eye that often, but she's gonna let Vern go first in case she has to do something.
That's completely fair, honestly.
Even if doing something just means calling in a bunch of Hessians from outside. Of which there are dozens of Hessians outside.
To get this done as quick as possible, I'm going to try and mark you each twice each evening.
Understood.
Because I need to have enough control over myself to not turn into a frenzied beast.
Understood.
And trying to mark people very quickly can be very taxing on one's supply.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel when the first mark starts to take hold. After that, I need you to drink enough until you feel the second one begin to take. I offer my wrist rather than my throat because it's a lot easier to fight you off if I can still use one of my hands.
Oh, yes.
Understandable.
I rarely drink from the throat. It's just so overly personal. The wrist will do fine, sir.
Very well. Step forward and bite.
I will do that. And, knowing that Charisse is going to go after I do just because I'm a risk.
I need you to roll me. We'll start with one willpower check right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What do I have? Okay.
Mulk Maven has redeemed a
Thank
+1
you.
willpower and a player +1.
Thanks.
I should use a +1 willpower, shouldn't I?
Well, that's a +1 to restore into your pool if you spent it to reroll dice.
Okay.
However, you can use a player +1 to add a die to that roll.
I'm gonna do that.
Remember, chat, our audience typically doesn't have money, so we do game buy-ins with channel points. So spend your channel points and give us stuff, or give the GM stuff. But
you sink your teeth into the wrist, and you feel that sweet, sweet nectar pour down your throat. You seal your lips round in order to make sure none of it, not a single sweet tannic drop escapes you. There's a warmth that runs down you, and you feel the beast stir. Oh, it wants. But you're able to clamp it down. There are more important things. Isabel needs protecting. Prince King needs protecting. Your interests need protecting.
And we gotta punch that guy in the face.
Yeah.
Your interests need protecting.
I need to punch that guy in the face.
That's the whole reason they came to Europe.
You are able to tamp down the beast as you feel his vitae mixing with yours. And you feel the first point of the blood bond forming on you. Roll me another willpower check.
I'm going to use another +1.
That is recommended.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a GM's prerogative. I'm going to offer one of my +1s to Vern.
Okay.
You're currently on one of my favorite characters, so I'm like,
yeah, you don't. This going poorly is not a good idea.
Vern is walking bad at
20-something dice.
And Fadier just bought 2 more GM +1s. Thank you, Fadier.
Well, now Fadier knows I can talk.
7 successes.
Oh yeah. You drink deep on that second one. And the instant you feel your belly start to fill and your veins flood with this power. And you now get the impression also, after these 2 very deep mouthfuls, that Hubert is a much lower generation than the guy you fed on. Hubert is maybe not hugely different, but he is definitely of a lower generation, which means that there is more power in his blood than the guy you fed on. But you are able to resist the urge to take that power for yourself.
There are more important things right now.
Besides, you can always come back for the rest later. Once he's had a chance to top off. And you manage to pull your jagged Nosferatu mouth off of his wrist. And you are... It's not the same euphoria high that came from diablerizing a person or draining a mortal dry, but there is definitely a high that comes from having consumed the blood of another kindred. It's a bit like getting that perfect piece of steak. The fat's rendered beautifully, it's cooked perfectly. The Maillard reaction, there's just that moment of just pure joy that comes from the consumption of that perfect piece. and that's what you've currently had 2 mouthfuls of. And he, I assume you give the lick to close the wounds you put in his wrist. He's a little... see. He's looking a little paler than normal.
Didn't know that was possible for a vampire.
He's on a vampire.
You drained the vitae out of our system, and
Yeah.
Madame Lowell, and he offers you the other wrist because the other one's still currently covered in a bit of saliva.
Merci. And yeah, nom nom nom.
All right,
she's a lot more kind of delicate and timid about it probably than Vern was. But all depends on my willpower.
You need to roll me willpower.
Yeah, that's true. Just roll straight willpower?
Yeah. Okay. Vern just needed to get more successes to avoid going full Diablerist.
Okay.
You've got a bigger range to work with.
Meanwhile, my hunger is up to 3 because I had to do all the auspexing. So roll 5 dice. Shake, shake, shake. Ooh, 4 successes.
Okay. You've not tasted kindred blood since you were embraced. And it didn't... you took on your sire's blood.
No, yeah, but I think he also did some blood bonding shenanigans when she was younger.
Yeah.
And he was, there.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But this is different. This is not blood of your sire, blood of your master. This is kindred blood, foreign to you, alien. Oh, now I get it. Now I understand. Oh, Vern, I don't blame you at all. I don't know that I could have said no.
Well, I think I could have said no if it was a Baali.
To be fair, Vern didn't know that at the time.
True.
I really did not. I was only even a little bit sure that he was a kindred. I wasn't completely certain of that fact in that moment either.
Meanwhile, the back of her mind's like, he tastes as good as he looks. Like, what?
Riza, please.
Not now.
All right. Roll me a second willpower check as you move to take your second blood bond.
Okay, did I have to spend a willpower to make the willpower check, or...
No.
Okay.
You do not have to spend willpower to make a willpower roll. But if you have spent willpower, it reduces the amount of dice you make during a willpower roll.
Okay.
Which is why one of the things our viewers can purchase is the ability to replenish your willpower. What did you roll? Oh, you were just confirming. Right, sorry.
Use your channel points. Make us all alternatively miserable and happy, or both. That is 2 successes. No, oh no, is that not no? God damn it!
It's a little hard for you now. This is the conservative is starting to wear off. The straight-laced conservative has gotten into a few too many glasses of the bottle, and it's hair's starting to come a little loose, little blush to the cheek.
Actually, would this trigger a change? This is an incredibly sensual act that she is doing in public.
Yeah. This might prompt a change to Riza. Vern, you don't know how, but suddenly the buttons just start popping on Teresa's blouse. Almost as if they were alive and understanding the need to change and draw attention to all of the various, hey boys, come on over.
At which point, Riza's gonna be kind of, ooh, but then wait a minute.
Wait a minute, I'm not the one who's supposed to be wearing the collar in these relationships. You know what? Since you've switched to Riza, please make me another willpower check.
Oh, God damn!
Well, now it's not Charisse resisting, now it's Riza of resisting.
That's 3 successes, so makes sense.
So,
Riza knows her own mind, sort of, and she likes it that way.
Charisse was starting to get really into it, and Riza's like, "Okay, sweetheart, you need to pull back now. You need to pull back." And instead of just pulling Charisse back, sort of switches with her.
Now I'm in charge. Okay.
Yeah,
you
and
cannot
is now
be trusted.
getting the full dose of blood, and it's like, okay, leaning into this, and Charisse is like, no, back. Mine.
I think more like Riza would realize what's happening and stop, because no, let's not get more blood bonded. What the fuck's going on?
So yes, you.
What? Because Charisse didn't think to ask Riza if she wanted to be blood bonded, but here we are.
Yeah. So as you're coming up, hair spontaneously having freed itself, your blouse spontaneously having freed everything beneath it, is like, Madame Riza, I assume.
Yes. What's all this about? I'm assuming there's a good reason.
One moment, as he starts to catch himself on one of the guest chairs.
She probably looks, sees, is there any blood left on Vern?
Oh
goodness.
How much do you see and hear when your counterpart is running the show?
Nothing, except for a little trick, your local Malkavian Primogen was able to do, which gave us a little bit of temporary, cohesion. But otherwise, I know what I find in my notes.
All right.
And unfortunately, I'm not good at taking notes as she is.
Charisse and Vern are determined to go to Vienna to find your sire and try to undermine the Baali.
Oh, okay, I'm in.
I assumed you would be.
As a means to protect against attempts at subterfuge blood bonding and to help provide some resistances against the Dominate, they both agreed to become blood bonded by me. After which I would rescind any attempts to advance your blood bonding and would fade in a matter of
months?
Anywhere from 6 to 8 months.
Alright,
It will take 3 days for me to finish giving you the full protection of a complete blood bond.
Alright, unorthodox, but I mean, we're on unorthodox times.
I understand that. At this moment, you already found him attractive. But now he also seems vulnerable.
Ooh.
Now he also looks like he could use someone to take care of him. And we already know he's willing to split a vein for you, which is already both kind of hot and super intimate. So I don't know how Riza is taking that. But because of the second dot of blood bonding, you're already like, you were already kind of cute, but now, are you one of those kindred who still enjoys sex?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't mind remaining in your presence for a few more nights, monsieur. And it could give me a chance to brush up on my German, because I think I'm gonna need it.
We can work on that. But if you would both excuse me, I need. It's going to be my turn to eat. And
GM, do I still have those 2? Do I still have hunger to 3, or does it go back down to 1?
Nope, you have fed 2 dots.
Okay. Yeah.
However, he is currently at hunger 4.
Yeah. Let's let him have some dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He slowly hobbles his way around, and oh yeah, Scry the Soul would probably still be up for Riza because Charisse activated it.
Right.
Oh yeah, you are. His, like, the fear, the rage, the everything else is still there, but like you can see the traces of the beast, the need in his aura. It's like, oh, we should leave before he decides to take back what he offered.
I mean, I'm not into it, but okay, let's let him have his dinner, breakfast. I don't know what time is it. Okay,
At this point, it's probably like 7 at night, 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So you two are free to spend the evening as you like. As he picks up the phone and calls for a full meal to the floor on the to the office on the 13th.
Has Isabel already departed?
Isabel has gone down as she and Garrison is setting up to get her on her way.
Mm-hmm.
But she has left the office at this point, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't have enough XP to buy the fun dominate programming powers, so I can't actually do like post hypnotic suggestion. You have to save the prince. But oh well. We'll just.
She's still in the building. She hasn't left yet, but she has left the office.
No, I know, but I still don't have that level of dominate yet. So, whoops. That would have been a fun way to practice.
I think I'm gonna head downstairs, see if I can't help Isabel pack, say my goodbyes as a proper and good brother should.
Oh, I'll join you. We're all still in the same room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like it's a good idea to go wandering about the city right now.
Certainly not.
So, the two of you take the elevator down. There are a pair of Hessians standing outside Isabel's door. And the door is currently open. And as you walk by, you see Isabel and Garrison inside. He is currently helping her pack. Madame, monsieur? Oh.
Bonsoir.
I'm sorry about this, guys. I really am. I just don't think there's anything I can really offer here. And this has been a lot of...
Izzy.
Oh, Risa, it's you. It's so nice to see you.
Hey, sweetie.
I'm so sorry.
No, sweetie. I think one of us should go back to Boston and try and help Prince King.
That is exactly what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm going to be going back, and Elizabeth's going to be coming with me. We're probably gonna part just outside of Boston. I just hope we make it in time, because I heard what happened last night to the dirigible.
What happened to the dirigible?
We did not hear what happened last night.
I heard what happened to the prince's court.
Yeah. Members of the Disable Cartel were involved in the group production of the Night Flyer dirigible, and we found out earlier this evening that it went under an act of sabotage and was destroyed, along with several members of the committee behind its creation, basically shutting down that entire sector of industry. The most depressing part about that is that one was apparently done by human saboteurs who didn't like the fact that we were advancing luxury air travel faster than that.
So this wasn't
That
even...
just sounds ridiculous.
You have no idea. I imagine that the timing of this is not unrelated to these individuals who were probably trying to destroy a future monetary source and something that we could use to, remove people, or to potentially bring in reinforcements, however late. If we were to convert it from a luxury liner into a, trooper carrier, and they probably used humans as their surrogates, but
cannon fodder.
Sabotage was done and the working model was destroyed. But we are securing a means to get her onto a ship and get her back to Boston as fast as we can.
Vern, how quickly do you think you could get a message through the various Nosferatu means from here to Boston? I mean, surely a message would travel faster than a kindred.
Faster than a kindred, probably not fast enough.
Any little bit of time, and maybe just going downstairs to talk to your friends might be admissible. I mean, if any of them are around, because the whole city's in chaos right now.
I'll see what I can do.
So they took out the current model and all of the prototypes currently in production.
Yep, the factories and the headquarters for the offices.
Thorough.
Where were the factories located?
We had 2 factories manufacturing parts in England. We were looking to broaden out factory construction with the aid of your associate, who had started to buy his way into the committee. He's all right, by the way. He was not present at the meeting. He is already on his way via ship back to Boston for his own safety.
That's a relief.
Is the dog okay?
He's very worried about the dog.
We're most worried about the dog.
They did mention a dog, yes.
Okay.
Apparently the dog pulled him from the explosion, which is how he managed to make it.
Oh, what a good... He's such a good boy.
Ace,
That's Ace.
All of that was rolled, by the way, off screen during the week.
And of course, Ace gets all successes. So.
Ace rolled 12 successes to notice the explosives. And then rolled 15 successes to pull Bart from the building through the window before the explosion went off.
I think Ace needs to be reincarnated in every game we play on Tuesday nights from now on. I don't know if it's possible in every system, but we should try.
I mean, I can put a dog on the Montero if you want.
Oh no!
I guarantee that dog's gonna be a liability in an Alien game.
Well, I mean, they had a cat in the movie.
They did, and there was a dog in one of the movies too.
But
that dog got
do we need
face-hugged.
Ace and the liability of keeping a dog safe, even when it's Ace?
Maybe he's a cyborg dog. Dogborg.
I mean, we could talk about there being a synthetic canine on the Montero.
Anyway.
How is Ace even best off screen?
Anyway,
because the dice love Ace.
The dice truly do.
Yes. So we can talk about this on break, because chat, it is time for our 10-minute break, where we do break stuff and decompress a little bit and figure out what we're gonna do next. While waiting to leave Paris, I guess. So, you know, get a drink, make some very good ramen, spend some channel points on various people on this screen.
Don't Diablerize anyone in the 10 minutes we're gone.
I mean, if you can do it in 10 minutes, I mean, go for it. So yeah, chat, we will see you in 10 minutes. I should be in and out of chat if you have any questions. And there should be 8 bajillion links to our Discord, so join that, because join the Discord. Always join the Discord. Okay, we'll see you in 10. Bye!
Well, to be fair, I don't watch it with a damn.
I only heard about half of that because of yeah. I turn on the screen before I turn on the sound. Hi chat, this is Magic Fish Radio. We do tabletop RPGs on Tuesdays and Saturday nights. And right now we're doing Eldritch Adversaries, which is still spelled wrong in the overlay, because I'm so good at my job. But
You're very good at your job. I've just forgotten to remind you.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be entirely on you. I should be able to remember my job. Anyway,
yeah,
V5, 1920s. We're looking for new players too for the last few episodes. So get on our Discord, check our Twitter. There's a link to an application form. Apply. Ask us questions, vibe check us. It's cool. We're cool, I think. I think we're cool.
I'm going to say this is probably going to lean into a much more combat-focused vampire game than people might be prepared or accustomed to heading into these past couple of these upcoming few sessions, rather.
So we kicked a hornet's nest in European politics, and it happens to be a hornet's nest of Baali. And
Who
I'm
have an
not-
interest in us specifically.
Yay!
You're all fun. It's
I'm so
great.
glad.
And it's possible.
It's fucking terrifying.
We during break we expounded on the possibility that the Baali destroyed that entire dirigible business and industry just to stop Ace the Hellhound, the pet of one of our previous players, from stopping them. Because this dog, there is legit stream VOD evidence that this dog is actually more useful than 5 vampires in any given fight.
It's true.
And according to John, out of game, he rolled like, okay, does Ace save his master from the plot? Yes. Ace discovers the explosives and then drags his master away from them. Rolling double-digit numbers of successes. So yeah.
So many 10s. Ace rolls so many 10s.
So he was aptly named Ace.
I'm proud of him.
So if you want to come in as a character with a new Hellhound that's going to roll like gangbusters, me and Dracus will be so happy to meet you. I don't know how John will feel, but you know, we'll be happy. John will be welcoming either way, but inside he might be crying the GM cry that I have also experienced. Anyway.
I mean, we'll see.
And I've set the timers to make sure that we end on time, though we unfortunately started late again. Because Chris needs an earlier call time. I need an earlier call time than everyone else, apparently.
So tech rehearsal 7 next week.
Well, 7 for me, still 7:30 for you. Because you two are reliable and I am not. Or at least I'm the most time blind person here right now. Ace is good, doggy, yes. Anyway.
So yes, let's bring it on back. When last we left, you were all in Elizabeth's room as she was packing her shit and apologizing for,
you know... Isabel.
Isabel, yes, sorry. Elizabeth is in her room packing, just trying to desperately get away from the which is Vern.
Well, Elizabeth didn't really have anything to pack.
Saved her. What kind of thanks is that?
She's an overly sensitive Toreador.
I know.
I mean, did Elizabeth really have anything to pack? Because we literally we actually rescued her staked body out of a
they got her a change of clothes because there was a gaping hole through her blouse, her jacket, her bra, her...
She couldn't stand for that.
To cover up the masquerade breach. Also, in addition to how dare.
Yeah.
How dare they destroy my favorite blouse. Don't they know who I am?
Wait, I get free French luxury clothes? Oh. I mean, this trip isn't a total loss.
Well, I mean, did she make this trip of her own volition? Didn't they kidnap her right out of the U.S.?
They kidnapped her once she got to Paris.
Ah, okay.
She fled to Paris to get out of the U.S., where she had been previously attacked, and went to the one city that she knew for sure was run by the Toreadors, where she, as a Toreador, should be safe.
Alas, her timing was fucking terrible.
Meanwhile, if she'd gone to Milan, another Toreador-controlled city, she probably would have been fine.
Yeah, but who goes to Milan?
The fashion industry.
True.
That's why there's no Toreador. So yes, Isabel is still packing, trying to get underway, and they have spoken to Vern about trying to get a message through the NOS network, as opposed to trying to use the Malk network.
Which is a little bit on the fritz. Also, the first rule of Malk Network is we don't talk about the Malk Network to non-Malks, or sometimes even to each other, because it's just understood.
Mm. So, Vern, will you be riding the elevator down to the catacombs?
Yeah.
All right. So, Isabel gives you a hug. You're like, yeah, great. You're not useless, Isabel. It's all right. It's okay.
Go home to Boston. Stay safe. Do what you can, but stay safe.
I will. You too. Come back to me.
I will. Totally lying.
I'm an American vampire in Europe now, bitch, and I'm loving it.
I am having the time of my unlife over here.
You killed a person, then you did a diablerie
Like, killed another person.
Killed a Baali. Are they a person? Who knows?
And now you're double blood bonded to a kindred who already seemed competent and pleasant, and now you're like, yeah, I would swear fealty to this man, absolutely.
He's sexy in a fealty way. You've developed you've been blood bonded into a squish.
Yeah.
Also, he's a Toreador who looks at Nosferatu in the face and doesn't start freaking out. Oh my god, what has he seen that he looks at a Nosferatu and he isn't horrified by the ugliness of that?
Oh, they're Nosferatu.
Gotta respect that man.
That is a thought that occurs to you as you're going down the elevator. Wait a minute. Garrison was probably trained.
Hubert Elizabeth. Huh.
Well, also Elizabeth's a bebe, a babby.
Yeah.
And as we've tasted, Hubert is not babby.
No.
Hubert is daddy.
Maybe to Riza.
So many levels. That was.
I mean, it all depends on how Mortimer feels about it. Might be Sharice's daddy too.
Well, if he didn't want this shit to happen, he shouldn't have gotten himself whatever the fuck happened.
He's an adult. He should have been able to take care of himself.
Yeah, and not get his body separated away from his soul like that. Like, who let that happen?
Shay.
Malkavian side-eye. We can keep track of our bodies.
He needed to be around here tending to his wife's needs instead of having her run into the arms of a sexy Frenchman.
Well, I'm only doing this to save his ass.
Who then blood bonds her 6 dots. The point is like, do we have to de-blood bond? I mean, it's kind of nice actually having you in my head all the time.
Well, this is a pleasant new voice. I don't mind this at all. He respects boundaries. This is new and interesting. Oh, that's just... Oh.
I have that roll in French rubbing against my medulla oblongata.
I mean, anything's less disturbing than Mithras. Oh. Those things that exploded. I wonder how close they were to Mithras. I wonder if even the Baali would kick that hornet's nest.
Do you really want to know?
Not yet. I'll ask later. Maybe after campaign. I'll ask.
Yes, but not this instant.
Not right now. Later. Like I
I'm
said,
in the elevator going down to the Nos.
Anyway, in-game.
You make it into the catacombs, and there are Nosferatu busy at work. They are working at their... They're working at their at telecommunications themselves, because word was sent downstairs from up top. And the Nos are using wireless radio transmissions. They're using phone lines. They are contacting everyone that a Nos has contact with.
Which is almost everyone.
At least in the terms of the Nos world and, you know, the Ratkin and the Bone Gnawers, but other kindred don't know about that.
Ratbone what?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it.
We use those to pick our teeth clean. But yeah, you see the catacombs are alive with the chittering of Nosferatu trying to reach out in the Nos network to everyone, everywhere, all the time. Again, you're hearing the Morse of using wireless devices to get the furthest communications that they can. You've got them using their own telephone setups down here. You've got Nos working switchboards, which you're accustomed to seeing. You've been in the underground of the Nos before. If anything, it's like, oh, your equipment's a little dated. I mean, we have much nicer switchboards back in America. I'm just saying. But, head of the curve. Head of the curve. No, focus, Vern. Focus. It doesn't take long for you to find Philippe, who is currently in the middle of collating information himself and handing it off to runners to get them going to every part of the city where they might not be able to reach people for communications, and getting stuff up the ladder to where it needs to be. You were actually brushed by 2 Gnaws as you got off the elevator, as they crammed in because they needed to go upstairs. You watch as they slowly, as the elevator goes up, because, they pass by Kine and, they can't be seen.
Yeah. So I will head up to Philippe then.
Mon ami, are you, all right?
All right would be misleading, but yeah. I'm in one piece. Nobody's torn me apart upstairs.
We have more important things to worry about right now.
Yeah.
We've got various Primogen vying for the position of prince. I think we eliminated all of these crazed terrorists in the city when they all tried to burn my men alive. That was fun.
I saw some of the aftermath of that one upstairs.
Yeah, we ours are recuperating elsewhere, but we found out what happened to those Nos we lost contact with.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were going to be replaced too.
Well,
We found the half-finished vicissitude work. Yeah.
yeah.
Put them down right quick. There was yeah. It's
Not much else you can do at that point.
Yeah. Nothing like watching a bunch of kindred getting themselves turned into Nosferatu to replace my men. It didn't end well for them. They screamed as much as I could make them.
Good.
But I don't think you're down here just to hear about how my evening went on a vengeful blood spleen. What can I do for you?
Well, I did come down here to hear how your evening went, but I also want to see if I can get a message back to Boston in any semblance of speed.
Oh, we're tied up on getting communications to a lot of different places right now. How important is this?
There's supposed to be an attempt on Prince's life?
We can squeeze you in. Give me all the details and I'll pass it around to the long wave radio.
I will do that. Freeze does not remember all of the details.
Okay, heads over, hands it to one of them. Start speaking to them in French, which you don't understand. But you get the impression it's a case of when you're done with that, do this. Looks it over. Quick. Vite, vite. As he's walking back to you, other Nosferatu are coming up to him. They're relaying information. They're handing him paperwork. He's looking it over, marking. You go. Oh, I don't remember the last time I was this busy.
World War One.
We weren't this busy in World War One.
Can't be that many occasions for this sort of buzz about the town.
Here's the thing. During World War One, everything was blowing up. We could do all sorts of shit and the kind didn't notice because, they were busy. We had to try and keep all of this quiet while the kind were living peacefully.
They have no idea, do they?
Not as far as we know.
They shouldn't, anyway.
They shouldn't. We've been trying to keep the masquerade in check, but these guys, they cared about the masquerade only so long as they were hiding from us. They seemed to care about the masquerade a whole lot less when they revealed that they could burst into tiny little suns.
They can do what?
Yeah. Some of them, apparently using a version of thin blood alchemy, could fill their hands with sunlight and harm us in melee contact, making their blood burn as they threw it on us in arcs. And a few of the others, the marks on their flesh that came started to glow. And then whoosh, like the sun just came through an open window.
I had heard that they had some sort of sunlight like power, but holy crap.
Yeah, not all of them could do it, but enough of them could do it.
Yeah. Doesn't
To be
take
fair,
much for that to be dangerous.
Based on how they looked, it looked like it was something that was unique to the Thin Bloods. Probably because they themselves can walk around in the daylight. The fact that they had this many Thin Bloods working for them was disconcerting.
That's interesting. I saw something yesterday that was green fire that they referred to as balefire. And
I saw some of that too.
yeah, I don't know anything about that, but my friend who has been trying to study some mage associated things said that's mage magic.
Great.
Yeah.
Don't let the Tromir know that they are kindred who can use magic. However they got it, make sure that Tromir don't find out. Last thing we need is for them to get any powerful.
They won't hear it from me.
Mon Dieu.
Strange times.
There's one way of putting it. I miss when the strange times were just getting used to waking up to this every evening.
Fair enough.
And I'll take World War I and the smell of mustard gas over this. I'm sorry, he wouldn't have called it that. He would have called it the Great War.
Yeah.
There's only been one.
There's only been one.
Yeah, that's why I have to.
It's the Great War.
The storyteller's tendency rather than the player's rather than the character's tendency. Right. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to head back on your way to Boston? Are you going to stick around here?
One of my coterie mates and I are going to head to Vienna, which is what we were initially intending to do, but it got complicated.
Well, hopefully Vienna is a lot safer than Baali right now.
I hope, but I doubt it. They wanted us to go to Vienna. Or back to Boston. Or maybe stay here.
When you say they, you mean these people we've been dealing with now?
And we were confronted by a couple of them. Yes.
Are you sure that's wise, Money?
I don't think anything's wise at this point. They're playing a game where they're 3 steps ahead of us.
Careful, the harder you jog to catch up to them, the more likely you are to trip and wind up further behind or getting trampled by everyone following their lead.
I appreciate the concern, but I'm going to try not to play their game if I can help it.
Well, you saved my life, so concern is something I'm going to have.
By the way, I don't know if it's interesting to you at all, but the aura is weird after that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it would be the mark of that. And oh yeah, you dealt with Hubert. Hubert's constantly skying souls to lead people.
I walked in the room and he stared at me.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well.
How else do you get a neon green aura in the 1920s?
Be a black spiral.
Okay, fine.
I hope you know what you're doing. I really do.
I hope I do too.
Philippe dies, we riot.
Yeah, we love Philippe.
Philippe's awesome. Philippe for Prince! No. Oh, he'd hate that. He'd hate it so much.
Yeah, I don't know if Paris would tolerate a Nosferatu prince.
It'd be very Phantom of the Opera.
It would be hilarious, honestly.
It would be very Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Hmm.
Wait a minute. It'd be very much all of French literature.
Oh, yeah.
I guess we're gonna have to see what happens.
And that's when the Toreador defected to Milan.
Yeah, okay.
It got gauche. Leave.
Right. So, is there anything else you want to talk to Philippe about? Any other messages you want to try and get him to sneak into the rotation right now?
No. There weren't any others that we discussed that I have forgotten as the player, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Cool. Then, no.
Unless you were all communicating in secret and going, oh, this is the thing we need to do when we come to game, but shh, don't tell the storyteller yet.
I have a policy of storyteller knows pretty much everything. I don't see the point of keeping secrets from you.
Yeah, none of us on this channel really have the foresight to do that to our GMs. Me included.
I'm interested in a good game unfolding. If I'm keeping secrets from the person who's, literally called the storyteller, then something's wrong.
All right.
And ultimately, our GMs tend to be very like, yes, plot against me. I know then how to make it look better.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So you say your goodbyes and head back upstairs?
Yep.
All right. You are taken up. By the time you return, Isabel and Elizabeth have both been escorted downstairs, put into a car, and taken off to be brought to the next leg of their journey to get them out of Europe and back to the US as safely as possible, where Bart will meet them on the docks. Or at least will meet Isabel on the docks. Elizabeth might take a different route to the US, or, might still wind up in Boston. We'll see. Or might be gunned down during a high-speed pursuit involving Tommy guns.
So Bart's heading for the docks.
Bart's already on his way back to the U.S.
Oh, okay.
So he will get there before them, so he can meet them on the docks.
So they won't have Ace to protect them, unless he swims back out, which he could probably do because he's Ace.
But would Bart let Ace do that?
Okay, true.
It's like, no, I need you to keep me safe. I'm the premier land boss here in Boston. I need my protection.
In the form of a single hellhound.
I mean, one hellhound is the equivalent to like 9 human ghouls, apparently. So
it's the equivalent to 5 young vampires, apparently.
Well, he's going to be real happy that Isabel's the first one of you to make it back.
Oh, yeah. She has an establishment that will bring in money, so, he will actually be.
Yeah, but without her around, he can run it better.
That's fair.
So, yes, you get off and you are greeted by Riza, still rocking the bod.
I've probably got a German dictionary, probably a French to German dictionary, because she speaks that.
Mm.
Oh, that's what that means. Okay.
I will come up and say in German, practicing your German?
Yeah.
I'm not really the person to be telling you this, but your accent needs work.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
I'm going to be the hot tourist trying. I don't need to work that hard.
I mean, I'm still going to be miles ahead of most other Americans.
Probably true.
You're not wrong. miles ahead of most British too, and Germany's just right over there.
I mean, it makes a kind of sense once you see they just take smaller words and mix them together into bigger words, and the literal translations are not always what I expect, though.
Nothing like finding out that there is a fairly long word, but a word for a face in desperate need of punching.
I have heard that one.
Yep. I'm sure Vern knows that one already.
Vern definitely knows that one.
So yes, what would the two of you like to do for the rest of your evening?
Riza is, are we confined to our quarters, or can Riza just like at least hang out down by the bar in the company of a dozen Hessians?
You can hang out down by the bar. You're free to leave because, as far as they can tell, they've stomped out most, if not all of it.
Yeah, we know
they're
that's not
still
true,
maintaining high security, so there'll probably be somebody shadowing you if you leave. But you're free to walk the streets of Paris.
Riza's just gonna stay at the hotel bar and see who comes in to hang out, and just sort of be casual and, at a hotel bar.
Okay.
Talk to, she speaks French, so talk to other Parisians, if there are even any kind, or, well, no, because they're maintaining the masquerade, so there's still kind in the hotel.
Yep. There's definitely going to be a decreased amount of presence telling people to veer away. But there will be, the Hessians are going to take on much more casual appearances as they're seating about, but it's, swollen muscle. Yep, no, they're not wearing their suits, but I can tell which one of you are those German knights of old. Hello, darlings.
Are any of them still wearing their coat of arms stuff?
None of the ones that are going to be hanging out and pretending to be, clients or people staying there, they're not coming down there wearing chainmail under their shirts or anything.
Oh, okay. That's what you meant. They're wearing chainmail.
Some of them are.
Okay.
Some of them were, rather. But also they all had these very distinct, very military, well, not military, but very uniform cut suits. So they all looked like they were from the same organization, which they are. But those that are, sort of milling about now, acting as quiet security, aside from the fact that they're all between 6 and 7 feet tall, with a heavy emphasis on swollen muscles and just very, so that's what Einherjar and Valkyrie are supposed to look like. Good to know. Riza's got an eye candy buffet for them.
Yeah, she's gonna go down to the hotel bar and lounge level and enjoy the German eye candy.
Yeah. And there are kind coming in now because it's slow, because they can only maintain a fake of this for so long before it becomes a problem. But story about a gas leak and they had to keep everyone out was a good cover story for one night.
Mm-hmm. If anyone, so there's enough presence around the kind, probably won't ask why there's extra personal security.
Again, some of them are just faking being guests,
okay.
or visiting friends, or just having dinner or a drink at the restaurant or the lounge. They're not there in their all identical suits. They're there currently working security, but not looking it.
Some are plainclothes.
Yes.
Clothed.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, Riza's gonna hang out then and help the Hessians look cash by asking them for help with her German.
Okay. So you are sitting there talking to various muscly Hessians and flitting about like a social butterfly, I imagine.
But trying not to suck their attention too much, because she still also wants them to protect her from the Baali.
Yeah. Like I said, flitting about like a social butterfly. Talk a little bit here, be a little flirty, move on. Talk here, be a little bit flirty, move on.
So,
more than a couple of kind will be sitting there eating something, drinking something, and they'll just be like, there'll be more than a few who are like, oh, who's that?
I mean, she doesn't mind, but she's also like, yeah, let's not breach the masquerade while I'm here. While there's an emergency going on.
I mean, all depends on how badly you want to get rid of that last dot of hunger. I mean, there's plenty of people who are willing to follow you into a corner.
I mean, that one dot is what makes it fun. So. And that's how Ariza do.
All right.
And she takes plenty of notes in her notebook on German.
Yep.
For when she wakes up and isn't her the next day.
Okay.
But yeah, that's basically she's just gonna hang out in the hotel and be cute.
Okay. The kind that do come up and try to flirt with you, there's a couple of decent pickup lines. They're mostly kind of shit.
I mean, it's a hotel bar.
Yeah.
That's practically an invitation already.
Yeah. It whether or not you take advantage of them is entirely up to you.
She's after hearing about the thin blood thing, she's gonna like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Just politely decline.
After being down there for like an hour and a half, you eventually see Hubert leave, surrounded by 4 Hessians, none of which are Hans, because Hans has already left to go deal with the Thoreau estate. As requested.
Do we happen to hear an explosion from this far in our direction?
No. An explosion would draw too much attention. A fire, on the other hand. And it's just far enough out of range that the local fire brigade would maybe take just a little too long to get out there.
Whoops.
Bye-bye.
And after a bunch of outraged, pretentious, wealthy folks start complaining about the terrible response time, what if it had been one of our homes? Within the next few years, another fire brigade will be built out in that area to keep the wealthy happy.
How nice for them.
Yeah.
You know, assuming Europe survives that long.
But yes, you see Hubert leave, determined. It's like, oh, right, they have to go settle that whole prince thing.
Ooh, are they going to try to make Hubert wear the bullseye t-shirt? I'd like to see them try.
Well, here's the thing. Even if Hubert were to take over for the short term, none of them would want him in there because he'd do too good a job and he'd earn the favor from everyone else and no one would want to depose him. Yep. Meaning if one of them did overthrow him, it would just lead to rioting from the rest of kindred society.
Well, that's the point of the bullseye t-shirt. It's you don't wear it. You find a patsy to wear it. And then they sit on the throne instead of you. And you have the power and they have the chair and the t-shirt. Which is why Prince King is an unusual case.
Hubert would not allow himself to be a puppet, and they all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, there's a bunch of egalitarian like libertines who have the t-shirts. It's like, Hubert for Prince, because they don't understand how they're too young to know how the politics work.
And there are a bunch of Primogens there going, oh, we can't let him take over. Look, we've all done business with him. We all know what he's like. He's not going to be puppet for any of us. Even the Toreador Primogen's like, damn straight he's not. You think he's going to cut us any slack? Hell no. He'll run this place like a business. He's going to make us start showing our ghouls, rights. And making sure they get things like days off. And pay, and treating them like people. I mean, who does that?
He's going to make us respect things like they're people.
Yeah, there's a reason Hubert can't be prince.
There's a reason that other guy became prince, I'm sure. Anyway, so yeah, she's gonna chill, and yeah, no one's gonna be talking about vampire politics here, so she'll just think her thinky thoughts.
Vern, what are you going to do for the rest of the evening?
Very exciting. Sit in my room. Maybe read a book.
With your thumbtacks and string board.
Yeah.
Putting up all the new information.
Yeah. Organize
Baali.
the information.
Baali, devil cult. All right. Yes.
Extra
Diablerie
evil
veins
vampires.
green.
Yeah.
Extra evil vampires, not Sabat ?
Some can turn into miniature suns. OMFG.
Thin blood
Yeah.
alchemy? You know, that's the real I think when Riza comes back to the shared room and sees that, she's like, you know, that's the real thing. The Tremere be all like, oh, we're wizards, we're kindred wizards, blah blah blah. They didn't protect us from this bullshit.
Nope.
Oh,
At least not the Tremere in Paris.
Oh, we're so secretive, we're so powerful, we can't share our secrets, and then, oh, what are the Baali? What? What do you mean there's Thin Bloods have their own alchemy? What? Actually, are we in the era of history where we're persecuting Thin Bloods for existing, or just are they not really a thing yet? Like,
Thin Bloods have started to become a thing. Their persecution started more or less the instant they started showing up, because Thin Bloods, seen by many older kindred, are a sign of the end times and the coming of the Gehenna War. So, you know, keeping the Thin Blood population down means they're holding off the Gehenna War.
mm-hmm.
Or at least that's what some of them think.
Yeah, meanwhile, if they can pretend to be ghouls and get away with it,
especially
we're
with
kind of fucked.
Especially with a little bit of chemistry.
Nope.
Or at the very least, something chemistry adjacent through blood alchemy.
And other kindred could probably justify their persecution with, well, they're technically a masquerade breach. Because they go out in the sunlight and don't explode. That's a masquerade breach. What? Yes, it is. What?
Meanwhile, certain kindred are like, no, absolutely. I will absolutely recruit you, take care of you, and help teach you how to function in kindred society. Are you kidding me? Your ability to function in the daylight is a blessing to me.
Yeah.
You are useful, you are beloved, and I will treat you with the respect you deserve so long as you do the job I ask you to. And that's exactly why Hubert has so many loyal followers, because he treats his employees with respect.
Also why he cannot be prince.
Exactly.
Amazing how that works out.
Yeah.
Wait, you treat your servants well, and they keep working for you like they want to. What?
It's almost like they want to, because they're being treated like people.
Anyway, yeah. So that's Riza will contribute what she can to Vern's revised conspiracy board. Wait, so your letter? How's that guy tied in with these assholes?
My letter?
Yeah, they mention. I forget. You showed it to me, and I forgot.
The letter was written by the assholes.
Well, yeah, but didn't they mention someone specific?
The letter did mention your sire Watts.
Yeah.
Does he work for them, or?
You know, I have no idea. He's my sire, but I've known him for a whole, 2 days before he fucked off and left me to fend for myself.
Really? The Nos do? I thought that was a Gangrel thing. The Nos do that too? Well,
I mean, it's a Watts thing.
Alright, some kindred are just awful at being kindred. Regardless of their clan or status or generation.
Yeah.
Sorry, sweetie.
No, in all reality, I'm, surprised he should have just left me to die as a mortal,
Wait, he embraced
that's what I would have done.
By accident?
But I don't know what his intentions were. I don't know why he did what he did. I don't think I would have made the same choice in his position. I would really like to speak to him. And you could like see
him,
that,
or like speak to him.
You can see the when I say speak, like the rage right below the surface, just right there.
Don't need aspects, not necessary. I mean, all right. I mean, do you think? Well, okay. So if these assholes know about that asshole, then it's unlikely he'd be able to help us. But maybe you can punch two birds with one stone.
That's kind of what they seem to have been offering me, is a chance to punch him, but I'd like to punch Watts and these Baali motherfuckers. That would be nice.
I wonder how they stand to benefit from you punching some sense into him from the face on.
I don't know. That concerns me because it implies that he's involved in some way that I'm not aware of and that nobody here is necessarily aware of. Because my issue with him is very definitely just a personal issue with him. So I don't see what they stand to gain from me just being angry at my sire.
Or maybe they see it more as favor potentially returned later. Although, I mean, how hard would it have been for you to just find him on your own and punch him in the face? Like, that doesn't seem...
I was planning to do that before they made this whole mess here.
I don't know. Is it too much to hope that suicide bombers are all they have? Like, I don't know.
It seems like they pulled a lot of tricks out of their sleeves for last night, so maybe, just maybe. But then, if they want to watch the world burn, and the city of Paris quelled this rebellion, yes, with losses, but in a single night to some degree, I have to think they have more, and that's terrifying because this is a lot.
Most certainly. And they've been able to pull off a whole lot of stealth and infiltration just to blow shit up. Yeah. I mean, even if that is their ultimate goal, it's like, oh, we don't want to rule, we just want to blow shit up. They really could be anywhere.
They could even be the third voice in your head.
There's only 3 now? What? Disappointing.
Was that a third voice in Sharice and Riza's head?
Only 3? Goodness gracious.
No.
I don't play Malkavians by half measures.
I love how we saw that at the same time.
Yeah, Fadior's comment. It's the French. Their city's burning is like a Tuesday soccer match.
But not the catacombs. The catacombs are forever. Which is why the Nos should rule. Or not.
It's why the Nos will survive.
Yeah. I'm lost in the catacombs.
I was studying the catacombs. I am lost in the catacombs.
I just think about that sometimes. For chat's reference, I found a meme that was like listed in asexual memes that was while you were studying each other's bodies, I was studying the catacombs. I am lost in the catacombs. And I was just like, that's a burn.
Yes.
And then I promptly forgot that I left that like in my notes for Vern, and then found it again last week, and it was really, really funny.
All right. So yeah, I think we two chaos kindred have a quiet evening in Le Hotel.
In l'hôtel.
Le Hotel.
L'hôtel de Mur.
With the pretty Hessians
Mm-hmm.
and a conspiracy board.
Yes. Do the two of you retire to separate rooms, or do you continue to share a room? You have two separate rooms, but I don't know. But it's a question of, do you two still feel secure sleeping in two separate rooms?
Well,
I think that was mostly on Isabel.
yeah.
So whatever we're doing now is I'll go along with.
Riza would rather share a room with the Diablerist she knows.
I truly appreciate that vote of confidence.
I mean, this is Riza confidence, but okay. Riza logic. There we go.
Diablerist logic. If I diablerize one of the two personalities, does the other one remain?
Well, apparently the Baali were going to try that, and I didn't find my letter in time. Whoops. Anyway.
Don't give me ideas.
Your letter and the trap are in two different rooms. Well, actually, I'm sorry, three different rooms, because there was one for Charisse and one for Riza.
Anyway, yeah, so I'm just gonna go to bed.
Okay.
Riza probably goes to bed early. Most uncharacteristic.
Especially when you're especially when you're going to bed alone. All right.
Yeah,
So
she's not gonna mess with Vernon that way, because that's the line where, no, not Diablerists. Riza has a line, she does not like sleeping with known Diablerists.
Yeah, well, it's not Vern you necessarily had as the option of taking to bed. You had plenty of options for people to take to bed if you wanted to go to bed early, but with a partner.
Well, I mean, were any of them
And you would have
kindred?
had to go to the other room.
Yeah. If any of them were kindred, then yes. But if they were all just drunk kind, she's like, nah, I'm not in the mood for explaining this tomorrow.
I mean, the Hessians.
Were the Hessians up for it? Because also, you know, they need to protect me from the Baali.
Well, you have expressed attraction to several of the Hessians. If you wish to invite one of them to your bedchambers, you could make me a charisma persuasion check.
I don't know if I've had to do that yet. Charisma.
Well, you're not the Toreador, so no, you've not had or the businessman Bruja, so no, it's not come up for you.
That's still 6 dice.
Now,
I haven't had to do a seduction yet. How am I playing Riza correctly? What the fuck is wrong with me?
Is there a particular Hessian you might be leaning towards? Male presenting, female presenting, whichever one happens to divert their eyes to watch your ass as you walk past.
She's curious about one that might be a Valkyrie, so she's gonna go with female presenting. She's not specifically going to ask for someone who's Valkyrie, she's just curious.
Well, you recall there was one female Hessian there who was taking command while Hans was speaking with Hubert and Garrison. You recall her like 6'3", broad-shouldered.
Is she still working though?
She's hanging down at the bar right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like she gets a little bit of break. She had herself a rough evening, so she gets slightly easier duty now.
That is only 2 successes.
Let's see. She would need to roll. First thing she's going to do is make sure that this isn't an attempt on her life.
No.
And with 4 successes, she is convinced that you are not one of these body-swapped individuals trying to eat her or lure her away to be replaced. She's had a rough couple of nights. I'd say 2 successes would be enough to convince.
All right.
And Riza goes to bed early, but not alone. And Vern, your room is not next to Riza / Sharice's. It's across
Actually,
the hall from.
could it be one of those rooms that has the adjoining door? And she just puts a sock on it. I'm sorry, a stocking. There we go.
Well, no one's coming and knocking on your door, Riza. But Vern, you can hear the sound of the bed being worked, and you are across the hall.
Also,
So,
if this what is this fine woman's name?
her name is Katrina.
Katrina. I mean, if Katrina is willing to multitask, I do also need help practicing my German.
Really, actually, this
Really,
time.
actually.
Oh, you will hear her make many German phrases, and she will make you make many German phrases.
There are 30 seconds left of game.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably a great place to end with Riza collapsing exhausted just as the sun rises on the other side of her blackout blinds. And boy, is Sharice in for a surprise when she wakes up next to
Ooh, that means I get to play Riza again.
And that seems like an excellent place to end the evening as Vern just stares up at the ceiling, still hearing it's like...
Good for you, Riza. But god damn it, I wanted to sleep.
I mean,
come the rise of the sun, you do.
I mean, this is why she turned in early, because, you know.
Bruises have never felt so good. And yes, that ends this session.
I feel like I definitely lost my focus for the last half hour or so of game.
I mean, really, you guys had options for what you might have wanted to do, because you have 2 more nights. Again, if you're keeping to Hubert's plan or Hubert's suggestion before going off into Vienna to provide you some measure of protection. But you could have also gone off to try and acquire weapons or firearms for yourselves.
Ooh. Well, we have 2 more nights.
Yeah. You also wanted to speak to the Malkavian Primogen.
Yes. If she had time or energy or was alive.
She is.
Oh, good, I think.
Yep. She made it. The Lasombra Primogen made it. The previous Toreador Primogen didn't. The previous Bruja Primogen didn't. The Ventru Primogen made it. I mean, the Salubri Primogen did make it, but there were only like 3 Salubri living in the city. So
I mean, did we know? Did anyone know there was a Salubri Primogen?
Yes.
Or was it an internal affair? Just say we're Nos.
No.
I still can't. Baali's one thing. I still can't fathom that the Salubri are out now.
Yeah.
Like,
look, I like the Salubri as a clan. They are here. They are still a very limited population generation. Not every city has them, and the cities that do, they tend to be in the single digits. A large Salubri population is like 12. And even that's in a fairly major city or in a city no one else is laying claim to.
Anyway, we have 4 minutes until 11. And then people have to sleep before school chaos and work chaos.
Yep.
So,
which is why you going to bed seemed like the best place to end game.
Yeah, so chat, thank you. Thank you for watching, either live now or in the future via VOD on our Twitch or YouTube channels. This is Magic Fish Radio, Eldritch Adversaries, a romping V5 adventure through 1920s Boston and now Paris and maybe next Vienna. We'll see. We'll see if we survive the shopping episode. Like, there's Baali here. We don't... There's nothing is guaranteed.
The shopping... More Dots blood bonding episode.
That said, if you want to help me focus more and join our game and do stuff and fight Baali and maybe get blowed up and maybe have a really awesome hellhound because we have a tradition now. A ninth tradition, I'm sure. Uh, Join our Discord, and on the Discord there is a link for an application to join our game.
I just put the link in chat too.
Thank you. And where is my schedule? Eldritch Adversaries will be running through May 24th. If we blow everything to hell early, we might end an episode or two early. We'll see. But yes, we plan to run Eldritch Adversaries through May 24th. After that, we will play 4 sessions of Alien the RPG, for which we will have pre-gens, and maybe a cat. We'll talk about the cat. And after that, 4 episodes of G.I. Joe in the new Essence 20 system, which is now confirmed better than the Power Rangers version. Blessed be.
Yeah. There was a...
And this is why we'll never be sponsored, because I can't be nice about these things. Sorry.
I am very judgmental of the things I love because I know how it can look when it's done by people who care and are competent.
So yes.
I also know what it looks like when someone cares and is incompetent, and when someone doesn't care but is competent. There
are varying gradients, yes. So yes, if you're interested in gaming with us on Tuesday nights or on Saturday nights, that new forum covers everything and has all the details on what we give you as a channel and what we require from our players and GMs. On Saturday nights, this Saturday, I will be running Exit to Eden, which is our NWA New World of Darkness in space game. In 6,000 years in the future, we've colonized space, but we lost Earth and Luna and Atlantis, and wow, a lot of supernats are really confused right now. It's a very complicated but very fun setting. And Magic Fish Radio supplies all of the supplements and books you need, so you don't have to go buy a ton of books to play in any of our games. On alternating Saturdays, we run one-shots of indie RPGs. And sometimes people from our own various casts do a turn as GM. And sometimes we have guest GMs. So we are also looking for more guest GMs and more new games. So if you are a TTRPG creator, writer, artist, contributor, Kickstarter, or just fan, and you want to see a one-shot of this run on someone's stream, come talk to us. If we can vibe check the game that it's cool, and it's very difficult for one to not be cool, but not impossible, come run it with us. Bring your own players, use our player, we'll work it out. It'll be fun. I recommend getting on our Discord and chatting to us about it, because we are there for that. And yeah. Oh, and I'm going to be on a charity game of Lancer on May 1st on another channel, and that'll be on my personal Twitter, which is that. So with that, I am going to go look for someone to raid. John, do an outro. Or no, Dracus, do an outro. I don't know. Whoever wants to go, do an outro.
Okay. I'm Dracus. I've been playing Vern this evening. We'll be playing Vern until this chronicle is out. After that, we'll see. You can find me here on Saturday nights most of the time playing in Exit to Eden, the drug dealing medic synth that's also a mage. It's complicated and fun. They're a little bit of a disaster. And yeah, I also make short films and write a bunch of stuff, and I sometimes post about that in the Discord, so you can find me there or on Instagram, and that's my existence at the moment.
And I've been your storyteller this evening, and as a content creator, I exist pretty much here on Magic Fish Radio. I am here storytelling and game mastering on most Tuesdays when everyone else's lives aren't catching fire. And I just want to make sure my players are entertained and my viewers are entertained, because if you're all not enjoying this, then the hell's the point?
We're enjoying it.
I'm glad.
Even
Hopefully,
when
you'll enjoy Alien as much.
Oof. Even when I space out and start metagaming, because I forget I'm on stream. Okay, for some strange reason, the only other indie channel streaming a TTRPG right now is Perception Studio, which is weird for Tuesday, but oh well. Am I on the... Yes, I'm on the right account. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Twitch is weird. My brain doesn't work. Anyway, so let's go raid Perception Studios. Who are... Yes, I used it correctly. Yay, good for me. So yeah, let's go raid Perception Studios. They are playing their D&D game. Oh yes, it's Salin's Legacy again. But it's in Season 2, so it's a whole new generation of ridiculous characters, and it's very silly and fun. Apparently, the dragons have decided to invade the rest of the planet from their island that they were secreting away on, and now there's dragonborns. It's fun!
Sounds fair, honestly.
And yeah, so until we see you next time, chat, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of each other's... Blah. Wow. Please take care of yourselves, please take care of each other, and please Diablerize responsibly. Bye!
And it's a Tuesday.